What's up, everybody? This is another episode of SPORTS-REUBEN-LIFE. I'm going to jump right into it here, and I am going to talk about today is the Los Angeles Rams and how and why they got beat against the Baltimore Ravens, right? First of all, let's just I'm going to set the foundation for this story, right? The foundation for the story, I'm going to set the tone for the story for this story, right? Because this is kind of a story bumper. People are saying, "Oh, Baltimore, the Rams are no good anymore, this and that, all this other stuff." And this is a result. The Rams losing is a result of a couple of factors. One, how good Lamar Jackson is. Lamar Jackson is that good. And I've been harping on this all this time, that the running quarterback, because of the protection of the quarterback now, can flourish if he's an effective passer. I mean, this guy is going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. He's going to have a 1,000-yard running back on the roster. He is going to be in position. He's a very accurate quarterback now. He changed. He said there's reports that they wanted Lamar Jackson to be a receiver. That they were saying, well, maybe you could be a receiver, this and that. Yes, it's true. He probably could have been a receiver. He's a very dynamic athlete who plays the quarterback position, and he's just that good, dude. So that's the factor why the Rams lost. That's one factor. Number two, the Baltimore Ravens dominated time of possession. So is Baltimore's defense that good? I don't know. What makes Baltimore's defense so good is because of the fact that they are not on the field a lot. Again, I'll talk about this. Fatigue, rest, being healthy. When you have Lamar Jackson scoring essentially on every single drive, the fatigue factor is real, dude. The fatigue factor is a huge component to this Lamar Jackson winning. Lamar Jackson is not somebody that is going to make your defense on your own team. So basically, Baltimore's defense looks good because he's just on the field so much. You're not giving the Rams an opportunity. They started the game in desperation mode, right? And a lot of teams can do it. A lot of teams can't. There's a huge issue with that. But I guess the whole gist of it is that before we start saying that the Rams are not good, let's examine the fact that the Baltimore Ravens are really that good. Nobody really has a good answer for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, they lost a couple games, but I think that they're really peaking right now. And the Rams losing, it exposed a certain component of the fact that they don't have a running game, where Todd Gurley is obviously still not at 100%. He had the whole offseason. And I think maybe he's going to have a career-ending injury. I mean, there's something wrong with him. He's not playing 100%. When he was healthy, he was dominating. And so you compound that with the fact that on the Rams defense, they don't have Dominic Sue. And Dominic Sue made you play them very honestly, dude. You had Dominic Sue and Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's having another great year. He's a tremendous athlete and player, but he needs to have a proper sparring partner on the other side of the rush. Clay Matthews, they thought that they can do that in the linebacking core, and I really wasn't sold on that. I think they messed up with how they thought they can structure the Rams defense. The Rams are not in position to make the playoffs now, right? 6-5, you're in the middle of the pack. If you look at the playoff standings right now as they stand, there is a team that is 2 games ahead of them, essentially. And so you're going to have to make up basically 3 wins in 5. So you got to win out. The Rams have no more losses to give, right? And so it's going to be very, very unlikely that the Rams make the playoffs. That's just a simple fact of it. It doesn't seem like they're going to make the playoffs. It doesn't seem like they're going to be in a good position to do anything. So that being said, I think this was the nail in the coffin that put it on the Rams season. They were the Super Bowl representatives for the NFC, and now they're in position to just not be in the playoffs at all. I don't think it's because they're not good enough. I don't think it's not because they don't have capable weapons. I think it's because there's certain people on the team, namely in Todd Gurley, that he's not being as consistent. It's not, everybody says that you're not up on Todd Gurley. I like Todd Gurley. I think he's a very dynamic player when he's healthy. And I don't think he hasn't been healthy for over a year now. And I think that it's really showing that he either needs to maybe sit out a year and come back strong and heal completely. I wouldn't be opposed to him sitting out for the year to get healthy, have major surgery on his knee or whatever's going on with him, and sit out for a year and come back stronger. I like this idea that he comes back like Adrian Peterson, because that's basically what Adrian Peterson did. Adrian Peterson got hurt for a whole year, came back stronger, and he has that type of physique. He has that type of ability. I don't want to see Todd Gurley retire or just keep on playing, keep on limping. He's going to eventually get cut and waived. He's not being productive like he should be, and he's hurting the dynamics of the offensive strategy, right? And so you couple that with Jared Goff not having the best year of his life. You know, he had a very good year last year, and he's having a good year this year too, but he's not picking up the slack, right? Like what I talk about in the Cleveland Browns, where the Cleveland Browns have an opportunity to pick up the slack at Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, and Baker Mayfield. They picked up the slack and got the victory last weekend. I don't think the message is quite the same with Jared Goff. He probably has to step it up a little bit more. His receiving core, you know, and also too the offensive strategy, dude. It seems like their play calling is a little bit stale and predictable. And whenever you have that, these defensive coordinators are so keen on finding patterns and keen on what you are not doing. You put yourself in a position where you're not being effective, essentially. And so that being said, just by that alone, you're not in that advantageous situation, period. So that being said, I think that the Rams have to move on from maybe Todd Gurley, give him a year off, and maybe because they signed him to a long-term deal, give him a year off, give him next year off and let him heal, and that way they can maybe keep him and he can be productive for 5 or 6 more years and they can make a playoff run. Maybe sign him for a little bit less money, but extend his contract. I know that's not a popular thing amongst players, and I'm always about, boo-boo, get your money, but your money's going to go away because you don't have enough time between cycles to recover. And that's going to be another topic of another video where we're talking about, how long does it take to really heal? Because this whole Kevin Durant thing, all these other people that are injured. And so the Rams have an opportunity to make some changes. Defensively, they should have went defensive line centric, and I think they relied too much on this Clay Matthews thing. He's effective too. Clay Matthews is a very capable linebacker, and they have good people. Jalen Ramsey is amazing, right? But in order for Jalen Ramsey to be effective, your defensive line has to get a solid rush, because that also puts good quarterbacks in high-pressure situations. Now, an average quarterback is going to need all the time they can. A good quarterback is going to use time that, just the right amount of time. He's going to let it go. A great quarterback is going to be able to accomplish something with no time. Lamar Jackson, I don't have no time. I'm going to run the ball and get 29 yards on you. Because why? Because I can do it with my feet. I'm a very dynamic, physical athlete, and so I'm going to utilize that. I'm going to utilize that to put myself in a position where I can keep the drive going and keep you, the defense, on the field and keep my defense off the field. And I'm going to make my defense, my defense only has to play 20 minutes of a 60-minute game, the Rams had to be desperate. They had to take shots that they never would have took. So if you don't plan for that, or if you're in a position from behind at the beginning, they didn't punt. I think, they scored 6 or 7 straight times in possessions. There's no punting. So you're playing like one versus, you're playing tit for tat. You scored, I have to score. You score, I have to score. And Lamar Jackson and company, they just keep scoring. So your defense has to take chances. You have to blitz this guy. You have to man up. Man on man. You have to change your coverages because you got to take chances and try to get the ball back. You got to hope that Lamar Jackson is going to make a mistake. He's going to fumble the ball because if he runs it, he can fumble it, right? So that being said, they were up a very, the Rams, that game was going to be hard to win anyway. And they got blown out on the biggest stage. It was Monday Night Football, all eyes on them, and they got beat pretty bad. It was a little demoralizing, but they need to be able to bounce back. They can still, 11-5 might get you in the playoffs still. It's going to be hard, man, because they are in the toughest division in the NFC, period. Maybe in the NFL. You have the Seahawks and the 49ers ahead of them. They're not losing, dude. They're not losing. You're not going to gain ground on them. And one of those guys both of those guys are going to make the playoffs, essentially. So you got to be the third wheel in that 4-team division, which is crazy because of the fact that one, you have the, if they were somewhere else in another division at 6-5, they'd be in first place. So that being said, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Tell me what you guys think. I kind of want to do a poll for this one too. I don't know if I'm going to put it up, but I want to be like, are the Rams going to make the playoffs? What do you guys think? Are they going to make the playoffs? Tell me in the comments. If you watch this far, I appreciate it. Consider subscribing and all that good stuff. Thanks. Bye.